Hello, my freaky darlings. Welcome back. This week I'm exploring the rather creepy urban legend that just happens to be based on actual events. The killer in the attic. Okay. So, the basic legend is that a family has a squatter living in the attic for weeks or months without them even knowing about it. Things start to go missing or are moved. Weird shit shows up in their trash. They hear footsteps in the attic, but when they go to check it out, they can't see anything. In some versions, they joke about having a ghost living in the attic, but in all versions of the story, they are butchered rather badly by the man living in their attic. The truth behind the legend is based on a gruesome mass murder that took place in Germany in 1922 that has to this day never been solved. The Hinterkaifeck murders happened on the evening of the 31st of March, 1922, when 6 people living on a small Bavarian farmstead located approximately 70 kilometers or 43 miles north of Munich were murdered by an unknown assailant or assailants. The 6 victims were Andreas Gruber, who was 63, and Casilia Gruber, 72, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, age 35, Victoria's children, Casilia, who was 7, and Josef, who was only 2, as well as the maid, Maria Baumgartner, who was 44. The murders are considered one of the most gruesome and puzzling unsolved crimes in German history. So, strange things began to occur in and around Hinterkaifeck sometime shortly before the attack. 6 months before the attack, the family maid quit. It's been widely claimed that her reasons for leaving were that she had heard strange sounds in the attic and believed the house to be haunted. Now, I'm thinking that was probably the smartest thing she ever did. Andreas Gruber found a strange newspaper from Munich in the property in March 1922. He couldn't remember buying it and initially believed that the postman had lost the paper, although it's apparently not the case because no one in the vicinity subscribed to that particular paper. Just 8 days before the murders, Andreas told neighbors he discovered tracks in the fresh snow that led from the forest to a broken door lock in the farm's machine room. Later, during the night, they heard footsteps in the attic, but Andreas found no one when he searched the building. Although he told several people about all the weird shit going on, he refused to accept help, and the details weren't reported to the cops. Now that's just fucking stupid. Yeah. Male pride, perhaps? On the afternoon of the 31st of March, 1922, a Friday, the new maid, Maria Baumgartner, arrived at the farm. Now that's just shit fucking timing. Sure. Anyway, so Maria's sister had escorted her there and left the farm after a short stay. She was probably the last person to see any of them alive. It appears that in the late evening, Victoria Gabriel and her 7-year-old daughter Casilia, her parents Andreas and Casilia, were lured to the family barn through the stable, where they were murdered one at a time. The killer used a mattock, which is a pickaxe kind of thing, and which belonged to the family. He killed them with blows to the head. The killer then moved into the house, where he killed the 2-year-old Josef, sleeping in his bassinet, and Maria in her bedroom. 4 days passed between the murders and the discovery of the bodies on the 1st of April. Coffee sellers Hans Edward Schrovsky arrived in Hinterkaifeck to take an order. When no one responded to the knocks on the door and the window, they walked around the yard, but didn't find anyone. They only noticed that the gate to the machine house was open before they decided to leave. Casilia Gabriel was absent without excuse for the next few days of school, and the family failed to show up for church on Sunday. Assembler Albert Hofner went to Hinterkaifeck on the 4th of April to repair an engine. He said that he didn't see any of the family and didn't hear anything but the sounds of the farm animals and the dog inside the barn. After waiting for an hour, he decided to start his repair, which he completed in roughly 4.5 hours. Around 3:30 p.m., Lorenz Schlittenbauer sent his son Johann and stepson Josef to Hinterkaifeck to see if they could make contact with the family. When they reported that they didn't see anyone, Lorenz headed to the farm the same day with Michael Pohl and Jakob Siegel. Entering the barn, they found the bodies of Andreas Gruber, his wife Casilia, his daughter Victoria, and his granddaughter Casilia. Shortly after, they found Maria and Josef. Inspector Georg Reingruber and his department investigated the killings. Initial investigations were hampered by the number of people who had interacted with the crime scene, moved bodies and items around, and even cooked and eaten meals in the kitchen. The day after the discovery of the bodies, court physician Johann Baptist Aumüller performed the autopsies in the barn. It was established that a mattock was the most likely murder victim, though the weapon itself was not at the scene. Evidence showed that the younger Casilia had been alive for several hours after the assault. She had torn hair out in tufts while lying in the straw. And that poor girl. Anyway, the skulls of the victims were removed and sent to Munich for further examination. The police first suspected the motive to be robbery, and they interrogated traveling craftsmen, vagrants, and several inhabitants from the surrounding villages. When a large amount of money was found in the house, they abandoned that theory. It was clear the perpetrator or perpetrators had remained at the farm for several days. Someone had fed the cattle and eaten the entire supply of bread from the kitchen, and had recently cut meat from the pantry. With no clear motive to be gleaned from the crime scene, the police began to formulate a list of suspects. Despite repeated arrests, no murderer has ever been found, and the files were closed in 1955. I mean, how fucking creepy is all of that? I mean, the murderers even made themselves at home, ate the food, fed the animals. It's one of those, like, what the fuck? Like, anyway, that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with people who are also fascinated by some weird shit like urban legends, conspiracy theories, serial killers, mythical creatures, ghosts, and other things that go bump in the night. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. And if you start hearing footsteps in the attic and weird shit starts happening around your house, maybe call the cops or prepare an ambush so you can kill the killer before he gets you. You know, just a thought. Anyway, bye.